Time for your fan weather forecast brought to you by Utke Heating and Cooling. 78 degrees, sunny skies out here at Curly's Pub in Pewaukee. High of 80 was earlier today. Coming up tonight as we look ahead, doesn't look like there's any rain showers in the forecast and a low of 55.
Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Fifer, served up by Wendy's on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan. Download the Wendy's app today.
It is that time again. Wisconsin Sports Daily broadcasting live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook out here at Curly's Pub in Pewaukee. Beautiful view of the lake. Come hang out here because of Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea, 100 calories, no bubbles, just flat out deliciousness. $5 for those Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Teas out here till 7 o'clock. Show being extended today to 5:30. And then from 5:30 to 7, we'll get you ready for Brewers and Reds tonight as the Brewers get ready for the playoffs. They're going to have some time off. Obviously, they got the bye in the wild card round. Tommy Wirtz will be out here with you, getting you ready for Brewers baseball, the leadoff show, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook from 5:30 to 7. Joining us now on the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. He is, of course, former NFL quarterback, now color analyst for Compass Media Networks for the Dallas Cowboys in college football. He is Steve Beuerlein. Steve, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, I'm fired up to be on with you guys. It sounds like you got a nice little setup out there. I wish I was right beside you.
Hey, man. Yeah, I mean, this is an absolute beautiful area of Wisconsin where we're at right now. It's absolutely gorgeous. So you said you're in Arkansas. So are you doing Notre Dame, Arkansas? We're actually a Notre Dame flagship here in Milwaukee.
You know, I'm not doing the game, but I'm doing the game as a fan. So
there you go.
So here's the thing. I was Lou Holtz's first quarterback at Notre Dame. And as you all know, Lou was a legend at Notre Dame, but he's also his legendary status really started at Arkansas. And so Lou is going to be here tonight for some Notre Dame related events, and then tomorrow at the game. And I was one of the players that was invited to come and kind of take part in the whole thing. So excited to be here. It's going to be a nut house in Fayetteville tomorrow. You know, it's a big, big game for both teams. And with all the Lou Holtz connections, I think it's going to be pretty electric.
I got you on here to talk about the Packers and the Cowboys, but since I've got you and you brought up Notre Dame, so this is the first year we've been the flagship. And after the start to the year, I was like, oh my God, I think we jinxed the football team. This isn't going well early. How good do you think this Notre Dame team is going to end up being?
Well, you know, there's a lot of question marks. I was very, very concerned about the first two games. I told everybody, listen, if we make it through that first two games of the schedule at 1-1, I would consider that a win, because I know Miami with Carson Beck and his experience and all the hype and build up around that game, it was going to be a tough first start for CJ Carr. And you know, I really thought it was going to be a lot tougher than people were going to give it credit for. And then A&M, obviously, they can play with anybody. SEC team, you know, they're trying to get themselves back up in the upper echelon as far as respect goes in the college football ranks. And I knew they were going to come in ready to play. So, obviously, coming out of that 0-2, was not the way any of us wanted to start the season. But I was at the Purdue game last week. There were some good things. Still very concerned about our defense. We got the new defensive coordinator, Al Golden, went to the Cincinnati Bengals, and he's got that defense playing pretty well up there. But Notre Dame has not been able to figure it out defensively yet. So I'm concerned, and I think TJ Carr has got some really positive things going for him, but he's still going to go through some learning experiences too. So my expectations are very cautiously somewhat optimistic. That's how I can put it.
Talking with Steve Beuerlein, former NFL quarterback, Compass media color analyst for the Cowboys games in college football, joining us here on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's with Steve Sparky Fifer here on the Fan. Let's get into this Packer-Cowboy game. It's funny that you're in Arkansas, and because we're going to end up talking about Jerry Jones here. I remember when that whole thing went down and how absolutely crushed Cowboys fans were when Tom Landry was pushed out the door or suggestively told to go away, or however this whole thing went down. You obviously haven't been a part of that whole deal back in the day when this whole thing went down. What are your thoughts on Jerry Jones and how he's kind of run this franchise from the time he took over? And obviously Super Bowl rings count with Jimmy Johnson and Barry Switzer, but it's been quiet since then.
Yeah, well, I wasn't there for the earliest days. I got there in 91. Excuse me. So the first, I think, 3 years of the new regime, I was not a part of it. I was playing for the Raiders back then. And, so I missed the early, the 1 in 15 days and all the other fireworks going on with the Landry situation. But when I got down there, I really was just excited to get a new opportunity. I didn't know how it was going to work out for me personally. And I knew there was a lot of talented young players on the team. And if you saw the documentary at all, that 91 season, episode 2 gets into it pretty good in that documentary. And, I got a chance to make a run late in the season. And I think that was really when the Cowboys started believing that they were going to be something special. We were going to be something special. And the next year, the rest of it kind of took care of itself with the Super Bowl. But, back then, the early days, it seemed like everything was very rosy with Jimmy and Jerry at that time. And, we won that first Super Bowl. And then I took off and went to become the quarterback at the Arizona Cardinals. So I didn't see what kind of transpired in the aftermath. But I've heard from a lot of people it got pretty tense. And obviously the documentary does a really nice job of chronicling all that stuff. But definitely a lot of people were rubbed the wrong way for quite a while when Jerry Jones came in and handled it the way that he did.
It's interesting because Jason Garrett's there for a while. They win, but they don't win in the playoffs. Then they bring in McCarthy. They win, but they don't win necessarily in the playoffs. And now, he makes another move. But trading Micah Parsons, I mean, you could speak about it obviously far more than I can. I've never played in the National Football League. But trading Micah Parsons right before the year starts has got to be one heck of a gut punch from a team to get up from before week 1.
Well, and the whole NFL world has been in shock since that news came out, and nobody could believe that it would actually happen. And Jerry Jones talks a lot about how he is so hungry to get back to the Super Bowl and get back to relevance from that kind of a perspective, from a greatness perspective. And then you see a move like that, and you're like, how does that help the team this year? You're 82, and you're obviously, it's been a long time since the Cowboys have been in kind of a position where they could make a legitimate run at the Super Bowl, and you got one of the top 3 defensive players in the NFL, and you let them go. And maybe this is something that the Cowboys will be able to look back in a year or 2 or 3, maybe 5 years and say it was worth it. But for this year, it's hard to build a case where the Cowboys benefit from trading Micah Parsons to your Packers. And obviously both of these teams are going kind of different directions right now, even though Green Bay stumbled last week in Cleveland. I think everybody recognized the Packers are one of the very best teams in the NFL, and they have Super Bowl aspirations. The Cowboys nowhere near that level right now. I mean, they got hammered last week in Chicago by the Bears and should have lost to the Giants the week before. So, there's a lot of question marks in Dallas right now.
So where's the threat with the Cowboys offense right now? You lose 2 offensive linemen, you lose CD Lamb. So from a Packers defensive perspective coming into this one, what are you looking for? Is it just, making sure the tight end can't beat you in Ferguson?
Well, there's a little bit more there. I think that Brian Schottenheimer has brought in a different mentality. He really wants to run the football, kind of like Marty was known for back in the day. His dad was always about running the ball, stopping the run, and Brian comes from that very same mentality. And, Javonte Williams has been a real pleasant surprise, played very, very well, and he was running well last week, but the game got out of hand, and we stopped running the ball, and then obviously CD Lamb got hurt, and things just kind of snowballed there. We defensively, the Cowboys have been an absolute sieve, giving up big plays. I'm talking about busted coverages, big plays where guys are running wide open all over the field, and Caleb Williams hit 2 of those in the first quarter, and the route was on. So we've got a lot of concerns both sides of the ball right now, especially with CD Lamb out, and going up against a pretty fired up Green Bay Packers team after what happened last week with Cleveland, and then obviously the homecoming for Micah. This thing could get ugly on Sunday night. We're the Cowboys side of it. Obviously, we're hoping for a good game and a chance to win at the end, but who knows how this is going to turn out.
The other part of this, Steve Beuerlein, is the homecoming for Matthew Golden, the Packers' #1 draft pick, the wide receiver, because he's from that area in Dallas as well. So on the defensive side of the football, I think if there was a concern for Packer fans right now going into this thing is the fact that they're down to their 3rd-string right tackle going into this game because Belton got hurt yesterday in practice. So now it's going to be Kennard, who's been in the league 3-4 years with the Philadelphia Eagles. Behind that, it's a practice squad guy they had to elevate. And Brand Banks. And then at left guard is their former first-round pick who was supposed to be the left tackle and might be next year, but Jordan Morgan is going to play left guard. That offensive line, Elton Jenkins, Rasheed Walker, Sean Ryan, the 3 vets, they all looked horrible against Cleveland last week. Dallas, I think you all got like 4 sacks in 3 weeks. That has to be, I think, where the Cowboys win. If they can win in the trenches and create problems for Jordan Love and Josh Jacobs, that's how they stay in the game probably.
Well, I think you're right. And, Kenny Clark as well, that was part of the trade with Micah Parsons. He's helped out from a run defense perspective, but truly the Cowboys defense has not stopped anybody. And they played respectably in Philadelphia week 1. But week 1, you can't really measure anything because new coaches involved, and you don't really get a read on things. The next 2 weeks, which is the last 2 weeks, have really shown a lot about where this Cowboys team is. We really haven't been able to get any consistent pressure on anybody. You said 4 sacks over the 3 weeks, but the Packers have 10. And so we're toward the bottom of the list in terms of being able to get to the quarterback. Teams have been able to pretty much do whatever they want to do offensively. The Cowboys defense is ranked toward the bottom of the league in almost every category. So it's concerning in a lot of different ways. And obviously that it's very clear that the Packers are going through some offensive line issues. I'm sure that's being preached to the Cowboys defensively all week long. And let's get after these guys. We should be able to win some of these matchups up front. Let's try to dominate that line of scrimmage, but still going out and doing it is a much different subject and a different story. We'll see how it works out. But I think if there's a silver lining for the Packers, it's that the Cowboys defense has not been very solid in any aspect to this point. So maybe there's an opportunity for this O-line to get some chemistry and some rhythm going for the Packers.
Compass Media color analyst for the Cowboys, former NFL quarterback, and of course, does college football as well. He is Steve Beuerlein. Follow him on Twitter at Steve Beuerlein. He joins us. He's getting ready to go watch Arkansas and Notre Dame and hang out with Lou Holtz, and then we'll be getting ready for Cowboys and Packers. This is the other thing I guess I'm curious about from you. Mike McCarthy, former Cowboys head coach, was seen in a suite on, what was it, Sunday, I guess it would have been, with Mike McCarthy and Chris McIntosh, the AD, for the Wisconsin Badgers. There was chance for fire Luke Fickell at the Badger game as they lost to Maryland in horrible fashion. What was your thoughts on the job that McCarthy did at Dallas and what ended up being his demise?
Well, I only came into this position last year in terms of, doing the Cowboys exclusively. And so I wasn't a part of we'll call them the good years, until obviously they ran into the Packers in the playoffs,
Right.
which really is what started the fall of the Cowboys. That game, the Cowboys have not rebounded from what the Packers did a couple years ago. Last year, even when Dak was healthy, people seem to forget that the Cowboys were 3-5, and he was playing poorly. He was having arguably the worst season of his career, and then he got hurt. And Cooper Rush just came in and kind of held it together for the rest of the season. But things really snowballed badly last year, early in the season. Mike McCarthy 3 consecutive years before that with 12 wins, but as you said earlier, no real runs in the playoffs. And, that's a reflection on obviously quarterbacks and head coaches. So Dak still carries that burden and that cloud over him related to not being able to really step up and take this team and play well and play big in the playoffs or in the important games that they need to win. And that's something that's been really hanging over the Cowboys for a while. And I think that ultimately was why Mike McCarthy got let go, because he and Dak and the rest of the Cowboys were not able to put together any kind of a run in previous years, even when they were really built and really, playing at a very high level during those 12-win seasons. To have it end the way that it did was very disappointing, I think, to the Joneses, and they felt a change was warranted, and here we are.
There you are, Steve Beuerlein. Follow him on Twitter at Steve Beuerlein, Compass Media color analyst, former NFL quarterback. Steve, thanks so much for coming on, man. Really appreciate it, and hopefully we can do this again down the line.
Oh, I look forward to it anytime.
Absolutely. Take care. There is Steve Beuerlein joining us on the the fan guest hotline. There you go. See, I got it, Charlie. See what happens. I'm on a remote like this, man. I got this light now that we have to use for the video. You can tell that's why I look like orange in the YouTube screen.
Nice glow. I think they call that
glow. Is that what it is?
Yeah. I think that it's a good look, Sparky.
I don't think I look orange. You think it looks really?
I mean, it's what they would call a golden hour look, The kids call it.
Whatever. Steve Beuerlein joined us on the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Coming up next, Joe Bartel, RotoWire Fantasy Sports. Get your questions lined up, fantasy football players. Let's go. Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Twitter, Facebook, at The Fan Milwaukee. We'll even take questions on the YouTube chat. If you have questions there, Charlie or I can read the questions to Joe Bartel. If you have none, then I will chat with Joe Bartel. That's all coming up straight ahead on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan studios. Powered by the Potawatomi Sports Book, Sports Talk on The Fan, presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game live every Sunday all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. Coming up next, some fantasy football. Welcome back. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. See Sparky Fifer with you. Charlie Usen back in the studio. Don't forget, coming up tomorrow, join Charlie Usen, Jack Pembroke, and myself as we broadcast Wisconsin Sports Weekend live from the Milwaukee area Napa Car Care Fair from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. tomorrow. Now, the Napa Car Care Fair starts at 9 a.m. tomorrow at the Napa Auto Parts Store on Highway 100 in Greenfield. The first 50 cars in line receive a coupon for a free oil change. Plus, you can win prizes like a new set of hand-cooked tires, gift cards, movie baskets, and more. Plus, free hot dogs from 10:30 to 12:30 and free vehicle inspections all day long from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Car Care Fair at the Napa Auto Parts Store, Highway 100 in Greenfield. Come hang out with us from 9 to 11 as well. For more details, go to thefanmilwaukee.com. Joining us now on the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law, he is Joe Bartel, fantasy football master from RotoWire Fantasy Sports. Follow him on Twitter at JB Fantasy Sports. So we broadcast out here at Curly's Pub in Pewaukee. Coming out here, grab a $5 Sun Cruiser vodka iced tea, 100 calories, no bubbles, deliciousness extraordinaire. Mr. Bartel, how are you?
I'm doing well. Of course, happy to talk football here with you guys on a Week 4 Friday. So let's get going.
All right, I want to start off with a guy that I think is going to have that bust-out week this week, and that is Matthew Golden returning home to Dallas for the Packers to take on the Cowboys. If I was a guessing guy, I bet you Matthew Golden's around 100 yards and at least one touchdown before this whole thing is said Sunday night against the Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that one. I had this conversation with a Packer fan and co-host on our Wave Wire podcast on Monday in relation to Romeo Doubs. I think Matthew Golden's the same way. If you have either Romeo Doubs or Matthew Golden on your roster, this is literally the week that you should be playing them. And if you're not playing them this week, they probably don't need to be on your roster, either because you're concerned about Matthew Golden. Not realistically, if you have better options. I mean, if you're not playing against one of the league's worst pass defenses, and frankly, one of the worst pass defenses I've seen in recent memory, and theoretically a situation where at least Vegas believes there's going to be a lot of offense on both sides of the ball with one of the higher totals of the Week 4 slate, I'm with you. I have some slight reservation. The way you beat the Cowboys defense is vertically. You think about the Wanted Robinson, Malik Neighbor passes in that barn burner of the Giants-Cowboys game 2 weeks ago. That's typically not how the Packers and Matt LaFleur want to attack things. They typically take what the defense gives you. But what if the defense just gives you everything and you open Matthew Golden go crazy? If there's not a breakout game for Matthew Golden this week, I don't know if it's happening in the near future. That's the way I put it.
Caleb Williams had a great week last week for the Chicago Bears, but it was against this Cowboys team that the Packers are going to see. So he has a big week. Everybody gets on the Caleb Williams bandwagon officially after last week. 298 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, had a great week. Number one quarterback in fantasy last week. What now this week at the Raiders? Is this a must start?
I think it is a must start, but it's not because Caleb Williams has suddenly become this generational quarterback. I think you and I disagree on the talent level of Caleb. I actually tend to like him. It's more so that I think this Raiders defense is just atrociously bad. Now, again, not as bad as the Cowboys, but I do think it's certainly a possibility that Caleb does something like 250, 2 touchdowns, and gets another 30 or 40 rushing yards. The best possible outcome for people who are playing Caleb Williams is that the Raiders offense looks competent. And Geno Smith actually was one of my favorite streaming quarterbacks this week, widely available on waivers, at least as of Monday. I think it was only rostered in 17% of Yahoo leagues. If Geno Smith can compete, and let's just say keep it within 10 points into the fourth quarter, that sets up Caleb Johnson, that sets up, Caleb Williams, that sets up Ben Johnson to be, I think, really putting the foot to the pedal the entire time and continue to build confidence for Caleb Williams. If it's not a breakout 2-week stretch for Caleb Williams, it's okay. But I think from a confidence perspective, this is what Ben Johnson should be trying to do.
Let's talk about another player here that we start talking about, these start-em and sit-ems and who to play. What about the Denver Broncos and Bo Nix? They get the Bengals, no Joe Burrow there. When you think Broncos, you're not thinking winning necessarily at this point.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Bo Nix has been quietly one of the more underperforming fantasy quarterbacks this year. He was in that range of Baker Mayfield and Patrick Mahomes who have had better starts. You're not really hurting if you played Bo Nix. but you're also not really in a position where you're happy with what's been happening. And if it were not for this Bengals defense, which has been also pretty bad, it's probably where you're dropping Bo Nix. And the only issue is that there really hasn't been a lot of obvious names outside of Daniel Jones that have emerged as like key waiver wire pickups if you're starting over Bo Nix on a week-to-week basis. This is another scenario, much like we had with Matthew Golden and Romeo Dobbs earlier. If you're not playing Bo Nix this week, there literally is no point to be rostering. So this should be one of the best matchups that Bo Nix is seeing, I would say, for the foreseeable future. And it goes back to the overall point with Caleb Williams, I think Jordan Love too, that outside of Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, and Josh Allen, if you're not in that spot where those top three quarterbacks and Jaden Daniels not playing this week adds to that, you're really kind of just looking for whatever streamer works. And there's obviously some better than others. Again, I mentioned Geno Smith earlier, but yeah, I mean, if Bo Nix is not in your lineup this week, you probably should look to trade him after Monday Night Football because he probably should have a pretty good game.
Talking with Joe Bartel of RotoWire Fantasy Sports on a Fantasy Football Friday here, taking your text messages, your calls. Nicolay Law Fan Talk and text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Also Facebook and Twitter at The Fan Milwaukee. Find us on YouTube. Search The Fan Milwaukee. You can chat with us there too. Omarion Hampton is a guy that is going to have an opportunity to really explode this year with Najee Harris now out of the mix in that backfield for the Chargers. And they get a suspect Giants team this week. Even though it's on the road, I still seem to like Hampton in this matchup.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we were talking about the Packers-Cowboys total and Vegas telling you that this game should be a lot of offense overall. Whoever is your betting older person in your life probably loves the Giants money line this week because you have a West Coast team traveling for an early game. The assumption is that the Chargers, who are rolling high, much like the Packers were last week, might be able to not lay an egg, but not quite perform up that level against the Giants on the East Coast. Omarion Hampton is one of those that I do like a whole lot, and especially with Najee Harris out for the rest of the season, the volume by default has to go to that Chargers rookie running back. And it's so funny what has happened over the course of a week because we were on this airways last week talking about Trayvon Henderson, Omarion Hampton, and Shigenti, RJ Harvey, this historic rookie running back class not living up to expectations. Now, by default, I think Hampton probably is, if you're doing a redraft today, if not a first-round pick, close to that mid-second round spot, because Najee Harris is out of the equation.
I think that it's good. Stay with the Chargers. What about Ladd McConkey in this same matchup?
Yeah, and that's one of those that I feel a little bit more nervous about. I had made the argument on the RotoWire Fantasy Football YouTube page, which I do videos normally every Thursday, that we have basically ran into a scenario. We talked about the Broncos earlier, but the Bengals, T. Higgins. There's a bunch of guys that have been picked up or available late in August if you had certain drafts, like Keenan Allen, where you should be playing those guys. Michael Pittman, Keenan Allen, I talked about being above the T. Higgins-Mendoza line. In this instance, I think Ladd McConkey is now kind of turned to the Chargers' number 3 receiver. And that doesn't mean that he's bad or even that he's been failing expectations for what that offense wants. Keenan Allen has emerged as the go-to guy since returning to Los Angeles. And Quentin Johnson has become really, I think, a deep ball specialist, but a big play specialist for that offense. Again, it doesn't mean Ladd McConkey isn't useful, but you were drafting Ladd McConkey as a top 18 overall pick, and he has not lived up to that by default because of Keenan Allen and Quentin Johnson. So you're playing Ladd McConkey. I think you have to if you drafted him. But, yeah, I mean, his fantasy value is significantly lower than where you had started him where you drafted him at the end of August.
Joe, let's go back to this Packer-Cowboy game because I think I brought it up earlier. We had Steve Beuerlein on before you came on, former NFL quarterback, does analyst work now for the Cowboys on Compass Media. But I asked him, it's pretty much the only thing you have to worry about stopping is Jake Ferguson in this offense, the tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. As I'm sitting here and I'm listening to you talk, from a fantasy perspective, Ferguson, does that make sense to play him this week against his Packers defense? And then what also does this mean for Dak Prescott going forward, especially this week?
Sorry about that, guys. Can you hear me right?
Yeah, we got you.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I have Jake Ferguson as my tight end 4 this week. I actually think he is right up there. I mean, Trey McBride did fine on Thursday. Brock Bowers, you're drafting him to play him like that. I think Tucker Kraft is probably in that same sort of area. And I think Ferguson, from a volume part of things, will literally just by default be in a PPR league one of those guys. And frankly, until CeeDee Lamb returns, one of those guys you have to have in your lineup every single week. It really is a scenario where, I don't know, if Cowboys having one of the smaller funnels of the entire NFL gets smaller with CeeDee Lamb. It's not Cavonte Turpin as a pickup. I think George Pickens gets some volume, but not a whole lot more. It really ends up being, I think Jake Ferguson is the biggest beneficiary of CeeDee Lamb out.
All right, another one. Let's talk about more guys that maybe you consider sitting at this point. Listen, when we start talking about sitting, this is all obviously subjective one way or the other. I don't think most weeks you're ever going to think about sitting Baker Mayfield, but they got the Eagles this week.
Yeah, you're right. There's actually a few leagues where I have Jordan Love and Baker Mayfield on the same team. And in that instance, I'm playing Jordan Love every time. It's not just that it's the Eagles defense, but it's also Emeka Buku was banged up. There was supposed to be less snaps from last week. Chris Godwin, I think, will make his season debut, but to what degree he's going to be used, I don't know if we have an answer. Of course, Mike Evans probably out for at least a month with that hamstring injury. You'll have Sterling Shepard, who has the Baker Mayfield Oklahoma connection. That's fine. But with Christian Wirfs and Luke Gedeke, Wisconsin native, both banged up as tackles, it couldn't be a worse spot for the Buccaneers. I don't think the Eagles are that good of a team. I thought the Rams, I picked the Rams outright to win last week. They should have won last week. There's the point where the Eagles do get exposed as, I think, not the best team in the NFL, but only like a top 5 team. And I don't know if it's this week with how banged up the Buccaneers seem to be.
Joe Bartel, check him out, RotoWire. Follow him on Twitter as well at JB Fantasy Sports. Joe, thanks so much for coming on. Appreciate it, and we'll do this again next Friday.
Yeah, thanks, guys, for having me on. See you later.
Take care. There he is, Joe Bartel, joining us, the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call. That is all. If you love Wendy's classic chocolate vanilla frosty flavors, there's some big news. They're all new Frosty Swirls and now Frosty Fusions. Same creamy treat you've always loved. Now they flavor refresh. So what are these new flavors? Okay, well, we've got the Frosty Swirls, which we all know, right? Strawberry, brownie batter, and caramel. Always ask for extra swirl. It costs you nothing. Frosty Fusions, Oreo brownie, caramel crunch that has pieces of toffee in it, and the Pop-Tart strawberry. So clock in for sweet treat time with Wendy's. All new Frosty flavors. A refresh on a classic. It's got to be Wendy's. And we are out here at Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar. See Sparky Fifer with you. Tommy Wirtz is already out here, the big old hunk of love, getting ready for the leadoff show, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. He'll be here from 5:30 to 7 o'clock. We're both out here, thanks in large part to Sun Cruiser. Vodka iced tea. Get them for $5 out here tonight, again, at Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar in Pewaukee. Plus, we've got koozies, we've got hats, all kinds of stuff. Plus, we got some fan apparel as well, some fan relief pitcher T-shirts. I only got a couple of those left. Those have been going hot today so far. Plus, we got some pop sockets, some stress balls. Kids love those things. They're like those pop-it balls or whatever you want to call them, right? Is that what it is?
It's something like
pop-it
that.
ball?
I don't know if they have official names.
I don't know. Here, I'm holding it up on YouTube. So there. That's what it looks like. And I think you can just pop them in type stuff. If you're on YouTube, you tell me what this thing is called. We call it a stress ball, but I don't know. It's got the Fan logo on it. That's all that matters. Don't forget, brand new lineup here on the Fan, weekday mornings, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor Thomas and Josh Ulbrich. 9 to noon. It's 9 to noon with Kuhn. That's right. John Kuhn is on the Fan now, 9 to noon every day with Rami Makloff, longtime Fan host here on the station. Brandon Snide, their producer. You'll hear him talking a lot, and apparently he likes eating hot dogs. That was the whole big thing today on their show as well. Then, of course, it's the foundation of the station, the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Thunder Nellis, brought to you by Verizon. Tommy Wirtz, of course, on that show. And then it's Wisconsin Sports Daily with yours truly, Steve Sparky Fifer, Charlie Usen producing this one. And then from 5 to 6 most days, not today, most other days, it's a Fan post-game show with Tommy Wirtz where he plays back the clips of the day that you heard on all the other local shows starting at 6 a.m. here on the Fan. And get you updated. Now, he doesn't play full interviews. He plays 2-3 minutes here or there. If you want to listen to full interview, you go to YouTube, you go to the Odyssey app, and you're all set and ready to go at that point. Coming up next, it is time to follow the money with Austin Herdania, Potawatomi Sportsbook manager. We'll talk about where everyone's putting their money on the NFL this weekend. That's straight ahead. Wisconsin Sports Daily served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here.
It's time to follow the money with Austin Herdina, the sportsbook manager of the Potawatomi Sportsbook on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, The Fan.
It is time to follow the money. Our guy, Austin Herdina, joins us now from the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Check this dude out, man. On YouTube, looking just amazing, man. Look at you. I love that setup. You're right there inside the Potawatomi Sportsbook, inside that studio where we broadcast. You're looking good, Austin.
Yeah, a bit of an upgrade from what we normally see, right? You like that?
Yeah, I love it, man. Looks good. Got it.
Awesome.
Shirt and tie on, the whole deal, all dressed up for this, man. I don't know if this is me every Friday, but I get used to this. This is good stuff. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about why I wanted to get you out. So follow the money. Every Friday, Football Friday here, Wisconsin Sports Daily, it's going to be about one thing, right? It's going to be about telling the people where everybody else is putting their money at the end of the day at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. So first, let's start off talking about which games are people have the most money on, right? So do most people have the Packers, -7 or whatever the spread is going into this week? Where's the most money at? What game is it in the league, and what team is it?
Yeah, it's the Packers, and that is most weeks for us. There's more bets and more money on the Packers than any other NFL bet this weekend. We see that throughout the season. Just a lot of people like to bet the home team. Same kind of thing with the Brewers, right? Anytime someone's coming in, they're usually betting the local teams. So the Packers at -6.5 or -7. We've had good amount of bets at both. So that should be a big game Sunday night.
Oh, okay, so that's number one on the line right now for you. What's the number two most bet game right now at the Potawatomi Sportsbook, Austin?
So we got the Los Angeles Chargers -6.5 against the Giants. I think that's a game where a lot of people are looking at this Giants team as nothing good. They're going to a rookie quarterback now. The Chargers, obviously, they got Herbert. He's good. They got a great coach. I think a lot of people are looking at trusting the Chargers. So that's why they're number two right now in the number of bets for this weekend. Number of bets and amount of money.
Well, the other thing, too, about this is we talk about betting with the spread, and that's what we're talking about now, right? We're not talking about the over-under bets yet. We're talking about the spreads, who's got the most going for them right now. What's game number 3 on that list?
So game number 3 is Washington Commanders -1. That's a game
without a quarterback?
Is Daniels out? Is he for sure not playing?
Yeah, he's out. Yeah.
I mean, you look at Atlanta, they made a quarterback move last week as well. They ended up going to Cousins late in the game. I don't know what they're going to do, if they're going to go back to Penix. Sounds like they're going to go back with Penix, but yeah, I mean, Washington still has enough around them that I guess bettors are liking them over Atlanta.
So, wait a second. So, Daniels is out. McLaurin is having surgery, I think. And that tells you how bad everybody thinks the Falcons are. Or Dan Orlowski on ESPN's killing Michael Penix. Well, not him specifically, but the Atlanta offense for running out of that pistol formation. And then today he puts on Twitter, hey, man, if you're not running from under center, if you're not hiking the ball from under center, you're doing it wrong in today's NFL. So he's really all over the Atlanta Falcons for this. I'm shocked. I am shocked that many people are on the line for the Washington Commanders at this point. All right, let's go the other way now, Austin Herdina. Let's talk about the over-unders and the top 3 there as well. What's number 1 most bet?
Number 1 is the Steelers and Vikings over 41. Oh. And that's the early Sunday game, the one in Europe, I believe, right?
Yeah, that's in Dublin, Ireland, I believe.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers against the Vikings. Should be a good one. Great matchup. Over 41. That's a low number for an NFL total. So obviously they're expecting some defense to be played. I mean, Minnesota, Carson Wentz is going to be leading the team again. Is that right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, no J.J. McCarthy, right?
So Steelers,
Vikings. What is going on in this league? We're talking about Kirk Cousins and Carson Wentz and people all buying in. That is crazy to me. Before week 1, everybody was excited about Daniels. Everybody was excited about J.J. McCarthy. Now they're playing a bunch of retreads, and the money is going towards the retreads.
And it's only week 4. I mean, who knows how many more backups will be starting soon enough. But, yeah, over 41, I guess people are just feeling like that's a low number.
All right, what's game number 2 most bet on at the Potawatomi Sportsbook with Austin Herdania, Sportsbook Manager, a new segment called Follow the Money. What's the second most bet game?
San Francisco 49ers, Jacksonville Jaguars, under 47. And I don't necessarily understand maybe why. Maybe because Brock Purdy, is he going to be out again? Are they going? I don't know. Under 47 is what people are feeling. Maybe
I believe Brock Purdy is going to be playing in this game. Last update.
Okay. Yeah, under 47.
How about Salah saying, we played this earlier in the show, Salah saying the Jaguars steal signals legally and do a very good job of stealing your signals. So sometimes you're going to get beat simply because they know what you're running and they're able to communicate it. Apparently, this all comes from the Sean McVay tree. Maybe Matt LaFleur missed that lesson. But either way, that is what's going on there in San Francisco. Jacksonville's offense. Remember when people thought Trevor Lawrence was going to be good, Austin Herdania? Remember when that was a thing?
Yeah, and we thought, Travis Hunter adding to the offense was going to be a big spark too, but we haven't really seen him break out yet. He hasn't had that breakout game yet. Brian Thomas Jr., another really talented receiver. So maybe this is the game they break out, but a lot of our bettors are saying no. They think under 47.
All right, let's move on to the next game. Third game, over-under.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Philadelphia Eagles, over 44. That's a game where, two teams right now that obviously starting the year off pretty much perfect, right? They're both 3-0, I believe.
Baker Mayfield, though, we just had our fantasy segment last segment, and it feels like fantasy football people are saying don't play Baker this week against the Philadelphia Eagles, which probably goes against this number of 44.
Yeah, Tampa's a little banged up. They're going to be missing some guys, but at 44 total, I mean, it wouldn't shock me if either of those teams, put up 30 themselves. So we'll see. Over 44, I kind of like it, actually.
You kind of do like it, really?
Yeah, I do. Jalen Hurts, he's a good pro quarterback. He's someone that coming out of college, I didn't really have high expectations for, but he's proven me wrong. And the way the Buccaneers offense is, they have so many weapons. I just feel like both teams are going to be pretty good on offense. So over 44, I like it. I'm with the bettors on this one.
All right, so on the leadoff show, which you'll hear Austin Herdania again coming up later, that's on from 5:30 to 7 o'clock tonight as we're out here at Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar. Come on, hang out with us. $5 Sun Cruiser vodka iced tea, 100 calories, no bubbles, just deliciousness. Out here at Curly's in Pewaukee. I got my God to laugh. Austin started chuckling on that one. And again, you overlook the lake. It's just gorgeous. So you'll hear Austin coming up there. I always tell people, you go to the Potawatomi Hotel Casino, you sit in your car, right? Pick a level of the parking garage, and you wait for Austin to make his parlay pick on the leadoff show. As soon as he makes it, depending on what time it's at, you can either run inside on the 4th floor skywalk, boom, right there's the kiosk, make some bets right there on what Austin has to say, and you're probably ahead more than you're behind, if we're being honest this year, because Austin has been making people money all year long. Do we have the same confidence level, Austin, in your picking of NFL games, I guess is my question. Do we feel good about a pick for the NFL?
You know what? I will let the bettors decide on that one on their own. I personally have not been a very good football bettor this year. I got to be honest with you, but this weekend, there is a bet that I really like, and that is the Cleveland Browns plus 10 against Detroit. I feel like what they did against the Packers, they look terrible for 3 quarters, but that defense they have is the real deal in Cleveland, and I think they're going to stifle Detroit, keep them within a score. So I like Cleveland plus 10 in that one.
Follow the money, the brand new segment here on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Austin Herdania will join us each and every Friday at 4:40 here on the Fan. We'll go over where the most popular bets are at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Give you some guidance if you're not sure where you want to put your money. You listen to Follow the Money each and every Friday. Austin, thanks so much for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
There is Austin Herdania joining us on YouTube, baby. He was looking good on YouTube with that shirt and tie on right there. Charlie, why don't you ever wear a shirt and tie when you're back there doing your thing? Why you wear a hat?
I can't afford to wear a shirt and tie, Sparky. It's
Austin Herdania joins us Austin Herdina joins us on the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. See, if you're watching on YouTube, you go from Austin Herdina looking like a boss, and then we look at Charlie looking, I don't even know how to describe
Casual,
right
comfy.
Casual,
cool.
comfy.
Yeah, all the best.
Definitely not cool. No,
okay,
no.
rude.
Okay, casual, comfy. We'll roll with that, but I'm definitely not going with that other one that you said. Cool. No, we're definitely not going to go with that one. All right, let's take a quick timeout. Come back on the other side. Bonus coverage right now going on as we go another half hour out here at Curly's in Pewaukee, and we'll get some more of that coming up. Also, don't forget Prize Picks, baby. That is where you're going to want to go as well. And when we talk, Charlie, I'm going to be late, so you can just stop giving me all this because there's no way I'm going to get this done in time. So it is what it is at this point. Prize Picks is where you're going to want to go. Download Prize Picks today. Folks, I'm telling you, you use the promo code Sparky with Prize Picks, and you just are going to be very, very happy with me at the end of the day. Why? Because you take $5, right? You put your card in your Prize Picks app, whatever the case may be, and you figure out what your lineup is going to be. Now, once you have figured out what your lineup is going to be at that point, then at that point, you place your lineup. Now, all we're talking about here is more or less. That's all we're doing. We're not doing anything more complicated than that. It's not that hard to understand. It's real nice and simple. 2 to 6 player stat projections on more or less. Now, it could be rushing touchdowns, passing yards. They have all kinds of different options. And not just on football, but on basketball, baseball, hockey. You name a sport is probably on Prize Picks. When you download that Prize Picks app and use code Sparky, you can get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Yeah, it's true. And they also have a bunch of other cool things going on as well. Did you know if you follow you can follow other Prize Pick players directly on the app and copy their lineups in one click, whether it's a friend, a celebrity partner, or just someone who picks what you like. Hit the follow button. Check out every lineup they create in the new feed tab on Prize Picks. And like I say all the time, look for the max discount players, people. Look for the max discount players. Those are the people where they're pretty much wanting you to get that one right? So it could be, I don't know, we're just going to make one up. Jordan Love, more than a half a passing yard. Well, obviously, I mean, unless, he gets hurt on the first play before he throws a pass, that's going to cash, right? So that's what you're looking for. Get those max discounts while you can. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code Sparky to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code Sparky to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for more details.
Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks every day. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Fifer, served up by Wendy's on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan. Download the Wendy's app today.
It is time again out here at Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar in Pewaukee. Come hang out with us. Beautiful, overlooking the lake out here. Great food, great drink special. Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Teas. They're $5. You're going to love it. 100 calories, no bubbles, just deliciousness is all I can say about that. And let me tell you more about what they have to say about their product. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. It's refreshing, smooth, and easy to drink with no bubbles to fill you up. It's a perfect game day sipper. Crack one open today and let the good times cruise Milwaukee with Sun Cruiser. In case we missed it, in case I missed it, Charlie missed it, we always miss stuff from time to time, things that Sparky missed, we call it on the show. Normally at 4:40, but today, since we have bonus coverage till 5:30 out here at Curly's, and then Tommy Wirtz will take over the leadoff show, part of the Potawatomi Sportsbook, 5:30 to 7 out here at Curly's, getting you ready for Brewers and Reds game one of that matchup for the Brewers and Reds tonight. I first would like to start off. We're going to maybe play a little Matt LaFleur here. So I've heard people on the station bring up the Ryder Cup today, okay? I'm not going to talk to you about golf unless we have, Bob Harrigan or somebody like that who we've had on in the past from Sports Illustrated to talk about golf. I'm not going to talk about golf. I want to talk about concession stands at the Ryder Cup. Did you see the story on concession stands at the Ryder Cup?
I haven't, but I've seen prices at other big events like this, and they're very polarizing, either really high or really low for some reason.
They're free.
That's really low. I like that.
Concession stands at the Ryder Cup with thousands of people are free. I saw this morning the longest line ever waiting for people to get their breakfast this morning at the concession stand. Free food. Keep Thunder away. That's all I'm going to say about that. Keep Thunder away from free concession stands.
He walked in right when he heard the free food we were talking about it. It's perfect timing.
Yes, he's the one that always asks, how's the food at that golf course when they do On the Green with Mason Crosby? This is the other thing, Charlie. Do you think a pro sports team would ever do this? I mean, do you think of all the people that are at this thing? Just turn on TV. I'm looking at it right now here at Curly's. There are thousands of people there, right? More than a Bucks game, more than a Badger basketball game, something like that. What do you think that would do? All these crazy promotions you want to have for Bucks basketball, let's say, and how we're going to attract fans and all these different things, ladies' nights out, guys' night out, all this stuff. What have you said on games where ticket sales aren't great? You just said free concessions if you come to the game tonight, like a flash sale. Why couldn't you do that, Charlie?
I think some teams are kind of starting to do that. Coastal Carolina's football team made the decision to erase all concession costs in March of 2025. So for all of their games so far this season.
This year they're free?
Mm-hmm. Our fans are the heartbeat of Teal Nation, and we're always looking for ways to elevate the game day experience, said Chance Miller, the school's vice president.
That's amazing. Good for Coastal Carolina. Now let's see a pro team do it. Pro teams are making way more than Coastal Carolina.
Baltimore and Atlanta, the
Atlanta's
teams,
$5, I think.
And Baltimore just put out their menu before the season of a bunch of family-friendly pricing for them as well. And I think they're about the same, about like 5 to 6 for most of the items. I mean, teams are starting to do it. I think more so it just has to do with some of these teams, I think, are getting money through other avenues. I mean, down in Atlanta, they're using that stadium for every possible thing they can think of, basically. In Baltimore, they've had control of that stadium and the parking and all of that. It's not really anything where it's influenced by the city. They're allowed to do that. And I think that once teams start getting in their own stadiums, once the Bears start going wherever the hell they're going to be building that stadium, they should have the rights to it and should be able to make the concession prices go down a little bit.
Yeah, I hear you on that. Okay, here's another one for you. This one is from Sport Radar, okay? Each NBA team's best lineup this century. The lineup from each NBA team that has outscored its opponents the most total points combined across the last 25 regular seasons. Now, the Bulls have the least amount of points scored in their top team of 25. That, of course, Rose, Brewer, Dang, Boozer, and Noah. It's a pretty good 5, right? The number 1 team that outscored their opponents the most when these 5 were on the floor in the last 25 years, Rondo, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Kendrick Perkins. That was the best starting lineup in the last 5 years. The second best, Billups, Hamilton, Tajon Prince, Rasheed Wallace, and Ben Wallace for the Pistons. The Bucks are 1, 2, 3, like 6 from the bottom. The Bulls are last with that lineup. So who's in that lineup for you, do you think, Charlie? Best 5 starting lineup, or best 5 guys on the floor at the same time lineup that did the most damage?
So I think Giannis has to be on that lineup, obviously.
Yes.
I think that's pretty easy.
Yep.
All these lineups are really good defensive lineups, so I'm going to say Drew Holiday's on whatever lineup is there. No, really? Chris Middleton, I feel like, has to be on just because he's been on all those teams, so that makes sense.
Yep.
So if it's not Drew, does, like, Eric Bledsoe, is it earlier than that? No. Is it more recent than that?
Appears so.
It appears so. So is Dame on the court for this?
Yes.
Dame is on the court. So Brooke.
Lillard, Middleton, Giannis, Brooke Lopez, correct. And who is the other player on the floor?
Bobby Portis, just with
Malik Beasley.
Malik Beasley. Oh my gosh. I mean, it makes
so
sense.
It's Lillard, Beasley, Middleton, Giannis, and Lopez is the best 5 on the floor lineup the Bucks have had in the last 25 years.
That was probably their most offensively efficient lineup, I would say, too, with that group of players, because Malik Beasley was on fire from 3 during that time. And it's probably a smaller sample size than some of those other teams, which helps it out a little bit, just because Damian Lillard and Giannis were both hurt at certain different points. Chris Middleton was hurt. So that's probably a really small sample size compared to the other teams. That's really interesting.
Yeah, I was taken aback. I did not think I would see Beasley and Lillard, if we're being honest. I thought it was going to be Drew Holiday and some form of that championship year.
I was going to put PJ Tucker in my lineup during that, too, just because of defense and his corner 3 ability.
Right. Okay, so that was another thing that we missed on today's show. Here's another thing. This one was from a couple of days ago when the Brewers were playing at Petco Park against the Padres. You know how the Brewers do this, and I think a lot of teams do it, right? They put up random facts, or they make up random facts for the different players when they come up to bat to make everybody laugh in the stands. Or, ooh, that's funny. I didn't know that. Jake Bowers came up to bat. Todd Rosiak tweeted this out. And it simply says, prefers to keep peanut butter in the cupboard instead of the fridge. And that is something that Jake Bowers was tweeted out. I've never in my entire life, from the time I was a child to current, I've never put peanut butter in the fridge ever. And now I want to try it. I've never put peanut butter in the fridge. Jelly? Yes. Ketchup, mustard? Yes. All of that? Yes. I've never put peanut butter in the refrigerator. That's supposed to be served cold?
I guess so. I think we have,
because you don't buy it cold. Like somebody, like Kay always tells me, because I'm always, does this go in the fridge? Does this not go in the fridge? She's like, you're supposed to eat it the way it comes, the way you buy it, right? So if you buy it on a shelf and it's on the refrigerator or freezer, more times than not, there are exceptions, that's how you're supposed to eat it later, and it's supposed to go where it is. But
Sparky,
I don't buy ketchup in the refrigerated section. I put that in the refrigerator.
Right.
Yes.
So there are many things that once you open
that's
them.
Mitch Thunder Nellis,
yeah, hi, everybody.
That you're listening
once
to.
you open them, you're supposed to refrigerate them. Like ketchup is a great example.
Yeah.
Here's the deal with peanut butter. Like I buy peanut butter, and on it says refrigerate after opening, and I still don't refrigerate it. Because it gets like all hard. You can't spread it if it's like, because I did that. I bought a different, I think it's from Costco. Like I bought it. It says refrigerate after opening. I put it in the fridge. You can't spread it. You have to let it sit outside or microwave it or something to make it spreadable. So I said, I'm keeping it out. No. You keep peanut butter does not. I'm with you 100%. Peanut butter does not go in the fridge.
What about regular butter?
So I can go either way on regular butter. I'm okay either way. We don't. But I have no problem with people who do. Like regular butter, that's what you're comfortable with. It's not going to go bad if you leave it out. It's way easier to spread. But there are some people who are in their heads about germs because we've been Americanized through the 50s and 60s when like we were super anti-germ. Now we know that some germs are good for us. And so I can go either way with butter.
We refrigerate butter.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah,
it's not as good. It doesn't
butter.
taste as good, and it's harder to spread. But that's okay. Like that. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, like when I was growing up, my mom would put one of those butter containers or whatever else and it'd be on the kitchen table.
Yep,
so
that's
she
what
would
we
leave
have.
it out.
Yeah, we have like a closed. It's not like sealed, but it's closed and covered container where the butter is. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See that? Mitch Thundernell is hanging out. You're probably wondering, why is Thunder there?
Because Sparky's talking about food. If Sparky's talking about food, you know I'm here.
Right.
Come on.
Thunder's going to be hanging out and helping out Tommy Wirtz with the leadoff show, powered by the Potawatomi Sports, but coming up from 5:30 to 7. So that is going to be another fun show you're going to want to be paying attention to for sure. I also want to get on one other thing here. We're not going to have time to do it as a topic necessarily. But Mike Farrell, who has his website, we've had Mike Farrell before on this show, Mike Farrell Sports. He has a bunch of different writers and so forth. And there is a story up last night. I think it was last night they put up. And the writer pleaded with Wisconsin to bring back Lance Leipold to Wisconsin, let him coach the Badgers, be done with Kansas, and get him back here. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think that chance of happening is very, very big at all if we're being honest. Because I don't think that the situation at Wisconsin with NIL money and everything else is probably all that different, or maybe less, than what he has at Kansas as far as funding of what he's doing. He's established a base. He's got a recruiting base down there. They just redid the freaking stadium for him and did all of that stuff. They spent a good amount of money to get that stadium redone. You just do all of that. Do you know who he is right now? He's Barry Alvarez at Kansas. That is who Lance Leipold is right now. He is their Barry Alvarez. I would be stunned if that dude said, oh, yeah, I'll come back and coach at Wisconsin. Not that he doesn't like the Badgers, of course. He was at Whitewater forever, of course. I'm sure he would love to coach Wisconsin at some point. But because of the situation of where they are, I think, financially versus Kansas, if there is a difference, I don't think there is much. And if there is a difference, Kansas may actually be giving up more money at the end of the day than Wisconsin is, Charlie. So while that sounds great, and we'd all love Lance Leipold back coaching the Badgers, I get that. But the buyout to get him out of Kansas is probably through the roof. And then the buyout that we were talking about yesterday, which isn't as bad. It's 25, 26 million, but it goes over the length of the contract. So you're only talking like $3 or $4 million a year through 2032 or whatever. So it's not as bad as it sounds initially, but I can't see it happening, Charlie.
I can't really see it happening either. This doesn't really sound like anything that is more than a linear move for the Wisconsin Badgers. At this point, I think you really need to go out and do something different. I think bringing in a guy that we've seen at Wisconsin Badgers games, a guy like Mike McCarthy, bringing in and just kind of having some kind of name there is what Wisconsin kind of needs at this point, because it's worked for a lot of these other teams that have brought in names.
Mike McCarthy is an interesting one. We never really jumped into that conversation about McCarthy versus Luke Fickell. My only question is, does he know how to recruit? You are asking him to take on a workload that he's never, ever done. I don't. What the staff that he puts around him, I'd want younger guys around him, right? I don't want a bunch of old dudes around him kind of going forward. I want some younger guys that can get down and relate to these high school kids that they're trying to recruit, get down and relate to these kids in the college portal that can talk the way they talk. I don't think Mike McCarthy and a bunch of old dudes necessarily probably gets that done. Yeah, you can show them the Packers Super Bowl ring. You can say you coached Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre and all of that, and that all works fine and dandy. But I think Bill Belichick is finding out right now in North Carolina, and the NFL and college football are not the two same beasts at this point, Charlie.
No, but I think Bill Belichick is going to figure it out at some point here. And I think if you're Mike McCarthy, yeah, you yourself probably doesn't have that ability, but you can call up Randall Cobb, who's not recently retired, and ask him to try to be a part of your staff. You could go even smaller than that and go with some of these other players that just played underneath him, like a Michael Gallup, who may be looking to get into coaching now that he's ended his NFL career a little bit earlier than I think he expected. There's going to be options for a guy like that. And I think Wisconsin, again, at this point, it should be willing to try anything to turn this around after the disaster it's been so far.
One other thing I want to get into before we get Tommy over here to crosstalk before his show starts at 5:30. Play a little bit from Matt LaFleur from earlier today, a couple of clips, not the whole press conference by any stretch of the imagination. LaFleur talking about the injury to Belton.
Did Belton get hurt in practice?
He did. Yes. He got hurt in practice.
Is that, do they think it's long term or?
I don't think it's long term, no, but he will not be playing this week.
Okay, so not playing this week, you have a bye week next week, then it's the Bengals. Okay, fine, that makes sense. That also means now that Darian Kennard is going to get first crack at right tackle, considering Darian Kennard could not beat out Jordan Morgan for right tackle, who was awful, could not beat out Belton for right tackle, who also has struggled through the first 3 games of the season. Does not put a lot of confidence in me that Kennard's going to play well, but LaFleur talked about Darian Kennard, the former Eagle.
I think he's done a nice job. I think he gets better every day, gets more comfortable with what we're asking him to do.
He's a 4-year guy. What do you mean gets better every day?
So, yeah, and I think
stop. Forget it. I don't want to hear anymore. Just stop it. It's just nonsense. Stupidity. That's just dumb. What are you talking about? He's a 4-year guy. He's not a rookie. Belton, maybe. He gets better every day. Jordan Morgan, second-year player. He gets better every day. He gets better every day. Hey, man, when you trade for a guy like that, my initial response was, okay, he's going to be the backup right tackle to Zach Tom. Then Zach Tom goes down. They play 2 other inexperienced guys in front of him. How bad was this guy when they got him? Was that a swing and a miss by Goody? Is that what happened? LaFleur got him and said, Brian, we talk for a second. This dude's horrible, man. I mean, we'll coach him up, but it's going to take me a little bit to get him ready. I feel like that's what happened, Charlie.
Maybe, but also at the same time, I think when you trade a 6th-round pick for a player like this, you're not really expecting him to be anything special. You're just expecting him to be what he is. And I think right now with this Packers offensive line in the state that it's in, you want players who are showing you more than what you expect them to be. The problem is that's not what Darian Kennard is, and that's not what you traded him to be. So looking at him and expecting more than what you saw already in the systems that he's been in is kind of crazy, considering that nobody else is over-exceeding expectations at this point.
Matt LaFleur talks about going through 4 different right tackles. Now think about that. That man rotated in 4 dudes at one position on the offensive line last game at right tackle. This is his thoughts.
Yeah, it is what it is. Just next man up, and you got to adjust and adapt and try to put these guys in the best spot as possible.
I'm trying not to swear. I really am. I don't want to swear. That is the laziest answer in the world. I hate that answer. And I swear to you, every coach in pro sports does that crap. Listen, we're not stupid, right? There is a reason why there is a starter and there is a backup. And in some situations, the starter is significantly better than the backup. In this situation, Zach Tom is significantly better than Morgan or Belton. So there was already a valley of talent missing between 1 and 2. 2 and 3, Morgan and Belton doesn't appear to be all that much different. Maybe Belton's a little bit better, but not much. And then what in the world is Kennard then? If those two are that type of valley there, how big is the difference going to be between Kennard and Zach Tom when Kennard comes in there to play? Oh, and wait, if Kennard doesn't work out, then a guy named Brant Banks, that most of you didn't know even was on the team in preseason watching him play, is then going to be the guy that's going to come in here and have to play again at that point. Charlie, my man, this whole next thing up stuff, again, we're not stupid. When you have a talent drop-off like that, that is a big, big deal. Now, if you don't have a great quarterback and then you have a backup quarterback, okay, maybe it's next man up. But if you have Aaron Rodgers, right, that's your starting quarterback, and then your backup, right, is, I don't know, pick somebody,
Nathan
anybody.
Peterman, Brett Hundley. You want to go Brett Hundley?
Either one. That's your backup. Don't tell me next man up. That's not fair to the guy that's coming in behind Aaron Rodgers and being like, go do what he does. Get out of here. No, there's a big damn difference. I hate when guys do that. Okay, what I am interested in, though, and we did this comment of concern and curious earlier in the show, was this run game with Josh Jacobs. and we talked about it at 3 o'clock. What's more important, a big game by Jordan Love or a big game by Josh Jacobs? For me, it's all about Josh Jacobs, mainly not only for Josh Jacobs, but for the offensive line to get some confidence. Through 3 weeks, that has been an area of struggle, is run blocking for this offensive line. Plus, now you got 2 inexperienced guys up there again this week. Matt LaFleur talks about how he can open up the run game.
I think it's a combination of a lot of things. I think, maximizing your opportunities. We just went through a run meeting and just looking at some of these ops that we've had this year that we haven't capitalized on, whether it's, poor aiming points, whether it's not sustaining blocks, that, we've got to get corrected. So I think that's a multi-layered question in regards to what can you do. Some of it's, making sure that you have advantageous looks to run the ball in regards to if you have a can on a play. So you're not running into worse looks. There's a lot of ways to attack that.
All right, that'll wrap it up for Wisconsin Sports Daily. Coming up next, it's going to be the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Don't forget, tomorrow, come hang out with Charlie Usen, Peacock, Jack Pembroke, myself, as we'll be broadcasting live from the Milwaukee area Napa Car Care Fair tomorrow at the Napa Auto Parts Store on Highway 100 in Greenfield from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. First 50 cars there at 9 a.m. receive a coupon for a free oil change. Win prizes like a new set of hand-cooked tires, gift cards, movie baskets, and more. Plus, free vehicle inspections from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Free hot dogs. I said free hot dogs. From 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Come hang out with Wisconsin Sports Weekend broadcast from 9 to 11. The Car Care Fair, again, 9 to 1 at the Napa Auto Parts Store on Highway 100 in Greenfield. For details, go to thefanmilwaukee.com, and we'll see you out there tomorrow. Should be a lot of fun. Charlie, thanks for hanging out for an extra half hour. Thunder up next with our guy Tommy Wirtz with the leadoff show. Powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, getting you ready for Brewers and Reds out here at Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar in Pewaukee, brought to you by Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Have a good weekend. Toodles.